Good morning, everyone. Everyone here at this festival locally and everyone joining us online. Welcome to our session exploring the patterns and preferences of next-gen viewership. My name is Ermo Saks. I'm a visiting researcher at Baltic Film, Media and Art School at Tallinn University, Estonia. This session is brought to you by FilmEU. FilmEU is an alliance that brings together 8 higher education universities across Europe that strive for film and media arts, education, innovation, and research. This year, we challenged our students to tackle a really important question. How can European cinema and film festivals truly connect with Gen Z? So, to prepare for this session, the students from the 8 universities got really good mentors from the film experts, professionals from the industry, and they will bring to you insights into the viewing habits of Generation Z, and also showcase creative ideas for film festivals and also for films which are made for young audiences. So, join us and discover and be inspired by the presentations of Next Gen Preference Survey, then Just Film Creative Concept, Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea Concept, Rolling Papers, and Wet Monday Creative Concepts. During the session and during each presentation, you can ask questions to the presenter by scanning this QR code or going to the website forumcapella.whatamo.com. But please ask your questions during the presentation, and after presentation, we will ask the questions right after the presentation, which means that when the next presentation begins, then the last ones will not be answered anymore. So, without any further ado, first up, presentation on the Next Gen Preferences Survey.
Hello everyone. Just to check, this actually works. So my name is Raigo and I'm representing both the Tallinn University groups, and this is the FilmEU Imagination Challenge survey report. So let us begin, but first let's talk about the survey itself. Our survey participants were people aged between 18 to 25. Let's call them Gen Z. They have been using social media, internet and smartphones from a very early age. That means they understand very well what stands out from the crowd and what does not. But the same as the previous generations, they also want to be part of like communities, just to be part of groups, but also they want to find what is unique about them and then to stand out from the crowd, and also they want to be heard. We asked our survey participants how do they choose which movies to see, what kind of genres do they like and content types, and also how do they receive information about film festivals, and how should it differentiate from the usual cinema-going experience. We disseminated the survey using educational institutions, sent via text messages to our classmates, and also through Reddit groups. So we had 99 participants out of 19 countries, and over half of them are born in Estonia. First, let's compare 3 ways of watching movies. First, there is the cinema one, where 60% of our survey participants watch cinema a few times a year. That does actually raise some concerns, because I think we can all agree on that we have more movies every year, more quality movies every year than the few that our survey participants chose to watch yearly. The most popular choice out of those 3 is watching movies at home, which is nothing groundbreaking there, because only a few years ago we had a crisis and everything was locked down, but people still need something to do, like to be entertained, and that's where the streaming platform actually came to help, and they really got their foot on the ground. But not everything is lost, since it's just about changing the habits of the Gen Z, because at least they're watching movies already. Now we just need to bridge the gap between the cinema and home. The most surprising statistics came from the film festivals part. 29% of the participants haven't been to film festivals in years, and 30% of them have never even been to film festivals. That does show a disconnection between Gen Z and the film festivals itself. But what about the preferences? The most crucial factor, according to our survey, is the storyline, because the storyline is like a basis of a great adventure, but storyline has two sides to it. So imagine you're having a busy day and a friend calls you, and the friend is talking about eagerly what he or she went through with his or her day, and wants to meet up. So you find the time, meet up at the location, and you finally can hear what the fuss is all about. First, it is the story that is being told to you, and the second part is how the story is being told to you, which leads us to the second part, the characters and performances. Although we believe that you can make a compelling storyline with other factors, but the characters and the actors' performances is what actually gives life to the movie, because it's amazing to see when an actor really understands the character that he or she is portraying and dives into the deeper being, and the actor is not only acting, but actually being the character. So this leads us to the third choosing of the survey participants, which is emotional impact. One is when you're feeling a set of emotions while watching the movie, but the most powerful one is like when the movie has ended, you're walking out and you can hear the music blaring behind the speakers, and you feel the joy, fulfillment, and you're really confident, and hope also. So that means that you're feeling alive. And we didn't forget about guidances to you. So we asked our survey participants how would they like to receive information about movies, and that is, the first choice is short video clips or trailers. So 85% of them chose this. The second option is image posters. Generation Z has been using the social media, and there is the bite-sized, engaging video content that tends to dominate. 79% of the survey participants would share marketing materials if they find it original. That means that it stands out from the other similar products. So, and how to do it? First, think about what makes your movie unique. What is like the true essence of the message that you would want to get across to the audiences, like compare it. And then use the uniqueness to your advantage to make like a marketing strategy for it. Art house films are being watched less, that 19% have even never seen it. So that does show some awareness issues, but that can be changed. One solution is to put it next to the commercial and blockbuster movies so that they can choose which movies they would like to see. And the second option is to do short and engaging video content which tells the people about the art house films and why they should actually give it a try. And also, since we're talking about Generation Z, they also want to share their opinions, talk through their experiences, and also make it interactive, make it playful, and challenge them to show their creativity. Now for the film festival marketers. The three top ways to receive information about the film festivals is as follows, at least according to a survey. First is the Instagram, second is Facebook, and then we have the older mediums like newspapers, radio, and TV. Keep that in mind when promoting the upcoming film festivals. First solution is to differentiate from the cinema. That means to make it different from the usual cinema-going experience, like having teams, having different scenery, and the socializing aspect also, so they can make new friends and enjoy it. Then they will come back next year. And also for the all year-round engagement is to build communities, both online and offline. So there comes together people with two similar interests, that is movies and socializing. And this can be done outside the usual film festival calendar to make some events when they can come together. Hybrid events, maybe the streaming platforms are not actually the enemy, but we can be friends with it. And we understand very well that it brings a lot of obligations, and it can be a tedious process to get the licensing done, but it's actually worth the hustle, because then the people can choose which movies they want to watch at home and what movies they're going to come to the cinema for. And for the closing act, I would like to talk about the following. To me, at least standing from here, it seems that you people have your heart at the right place, because you're doing what you like and getting to express your ideas to your targeted audiences. Although movie industry is a business, but first treat it as a way to express your ideas. So find what is unique about you, and then find what is unique about what you do, and then find a way to make profit. Special thanks go out to our project owners who gave us all the information that we needed, supervisors who led the way and even answered our stupid questions, mentors who shared their years of knowledge to us, and also survey participants, because without them we wouldn't actually be able to show anything. Now for the full report, you can use this QR code and see the document, and I thank you all for your time and concentration. And yeah, behold, questions time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have a question from Mike.
Okay, hello Mike, wherever you are.
Don't know. Mike, are you here? If not, then maybe he's online. But the question is, what other countries were involved besides Estonia in the survey?
Like the participants itself?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We mentioned that there were 19 countries.
Yeah. Over 50% of them were from Estonia, but we also had Denmark, Nigeria, Sweden, then UK. Those were like the main ones, and then they had 1% out of everyone. Mostly they came from like the Reddit groups, and also when our classmates sent it to their classmates as well. So yeah.
Okay. And I have a question to you as a student. You conducted with your mates this survey now. If you would do it again, then what are your learning points from this experience? What would you do differently, and are you happy with the results, or do you see already improvements to make even better survey?
So the first question is about disseminating it. No, the questionnaire itself.
The questionnaire itself and how to conduct it and so on.
I think the contacting way was good, but we should use other medium as well, like some Facebook groups, and maybe the starting point should be a little bit earlier so we get more participants. What to make different is maybe the process itself, like to getting agreements on something and making some I don't know what's the word, but before meeting your groups and people, like you have a strict plan that you hand, and then you can change it. So that makes the process even better. So yeah, that would I do.
Okay. Next question we have from Sebastian.
Hello, Sebastian.
How do your interest in movie different between known franchises and new original scripts?
So how should it differ?
How do the interest in movies differ between known franchises, like big companies, and new original scripts? Did it come out from your survey?
Not really, but to think about it, those commercial movies, but since they have large budgets and they need, it's sort of like made for profit, but also it's art at the same time. But the original ones maybe can take more risks in those departments than the blockbuster movies can, because you have to have something funny, you have some music, somebody. Yeah, I won't go on with it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it with the questions for now. Thank you. And next up, Applause.
Thanks.
And next up, we have a presentation on the used film creative concept. And once again, please scan the QR code so you have the page open already, and during the presentation, you can answer your questions. Thanks.
Good day, everybody. My name is Andri. I'm a part of Tallinn University and as well of our FilmEU Imagination Challenge group. And today I'm going to talk to you about Just Film Film Festival and marketing and communication strategies that we develop for it. So Just Film is a subsidiary film festival partner of Perth Film Festival. It is based around children and youth adults movie productions and focuses on Gen Z as their main target audience. Every year, they introduce their movies and screenings to around 20,000 people. The goal of our research was to develop ways for Just Film Festival, social media, and physical marketing. Based on our research, we can see that, of course, Generation Z have different habits from previous generations, as having always this online connection and establishment, they have different attention span. But we also discovered that they really want to be heard and express themselves and be part of the conversation. We also, based on the surveys that we conducted, we discovered that less than 50% of people decide to visit film festival during the year, as well as only 11% even go there more than once. We also discovered that film festivals, such as Just Film, have a high season and a low season of participation and engagement. So high season for Just Film in specialty would be autumn during the Perth Black Nights Festival, and the low season is like the rest of the year when the engagement numbers are much lower. While working on the project, we'll develop a number of strategies that can be implemented in Just Film Festival. So first of all, it's focused in Estonian community and introduction of kids throughout Estonia as part of their audience. So right now, Just Film introduced a new strategy of engaging with kids throughout Estonia. So they send in newsletters to schools and teachers and try to communicate with kids through teachers right now. So we're having around more than 200,000 of Gen Z living in Estonia right now. You can see that those numbers of attention could be raised by this strategy. And the ideas that we offer could be also implemented not only in Estonia, but in also other local and regional film festivals around Europe. First, by establishing partnership with schools, film festivals communicate with the audience directly. Film festivals could organize school trips during the festival itself for the kids to see the screenings, and during the low season, film festivals could nominate a designated spokesperson that can go to different schools, apart from Tallinn even, and communicate the ideas of movie history, filmmaking, and film productions to kids. Another way of engaging more audience during the film festival is to provide a selection of exclusive online film screenings. This could reach around to the audience that would not go to the film festival under normal circumstances. Now let's discuss our physical marketing strategies more directly. Of course, screenings and interactive sessions during the film festival could spark people's interest and kids' interest during the movies. But also, we want to suggest to offer kids to show their own creativity and film a number of short films during the festival visits and, of course, school visits. We strongly encourage to introduce kids into all parts of such film productions, started from producing, writing, directing, acting, and later even potentially post-producing those short films. Of course, those short films can be shown during the festival, in the screenings, or in the venue locally. Additionally, we would offer to, for the film festivals to have 1 or 2 year related themes so that children could easily relate with the film festival itself. Those themes should be playful and engaging so that kids don't really get overwhelmed by events of such scale. Another way of allowing kids to express their own creativity would be to bring, black and white drafts of the posters. So think about coloring books, but let's call it coloring posters. Kids can draw on them, express their own creativity, and of course you know that there is nothing more engaging and creative than unfiltered child's mind. Those posters could be also later brought to the film festival screenings and produced there. Also, to emphasize a child's memorable interaction during the festival physically, we also suggest hiring a number of animators dressed as a mascot. For example, you can see it even right here. It's for film festival Just Film. This is Puff Just Film Wolfie. Dressed like this, kids could also engage with the festivals on a more personal and emotional level. But the most important outtake for physical marketing is to establish a personal connection between children and film festivals and present them the opportunity to interact into the film festival community directly. Our ideas for the social media marketing would strongly advise for the film festival to film an archive of footage during the high season. This could be movie snaps, audience reactions, interviews, and kids participating in the movie festival. This footage could be used during the low season to promote with fans or people around the film festival on a more personal level. At the same time, clips from the movies directly or interviews with movie production crews, like directors, writers, producers, could be produced online to engage with the audience across the festival. As well, partnership with local celebrities and influencers could also help. Celebrities and influencers that are popular among kids. They could also bridge the gap between children and film festivals. And of course, by providing influencers benefits and inviting them to participate, child experience during film festival could be not only about the movies, but also about meeting their favorite influencer and communicating with them directly about not only the film, but also movie industry. And of course, as mentioned before, the strategy around inviting kids through schools and teachers could bring more people potentially, but we would strongly encourage for those letters and offers to be brief, broad, and precise, so that if teacher could see the direct benefit of their interaction, they would also want to bring the kids and the students they have around with them. But of course, one outtake that is important for social media marketing is to have a precise marketing strategy for both high season and low season. This could also be even further developed by partnership with established brands. In Just Film's case, this is Puff Black Nights Film Festival. But films around Europe, film festivals around Europe should find those connections and partnerships. And well, that's all for me. Thank you for your time. But of course, before I end, I want to give big shout outs to a lot of people. First of all, big thanks to our project owner, Sandra. Without her, we will not be able to actually make it. And as well to our wonderful mentors and supervisors that help us navigate throughout our project during the way. And of course, to the participants of the survey. We might not know them personally or ever meet them, but the impact they had for us is amazing. Thank you. And now, let's go to the questions.
Thank you. We have a few questions. The main question probably, if there are people in the audience who run a festival or plan to run, then are those marketing ideas you proposed, are they transferable to whatever festival, or are they tailor-made to just film festival?
They're based, of course, around just film festival, but yeah, as we focused our research and development around Europe, these ideas could be tailored for another festivals around Europe. Yeah, I think for different markets like Asian market or North American market, a little adjustments should be made because the demographics of those regions is different. But yeah, they're transferable.
Okay. And is it harder to market a film festival or a concrete film? Because your mates did creative plans for concrete films, and you did a film festival, so what do you reckon?
I would say it's about the difference in approach of marketing like a film, because with film you can establish a personal connection. With film festival it's a little bit different, and the strategies to establish those connections should be even potentially on a higher scale than for films itself. So what I'm taking out of it is that relying on your survey, the group as a whole, you've discovered that the most important part is to create a personal connection. Either it's a film festival, because you proposed as well for the kids to get really personal connection with a film festival, to use the mascot, for example, and you're saying also that for a film, personal connection is a way to go if you want to make a really good impact and market it. Yeah, because we're talking about here about kids and Generation Z, it's important to have personal connection with them. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And next up, we have a presentation on the Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea creative concept. So please, and again, please scan the QR code or go to the address forumcapella.votermode.com and enter your questions there.
Hello. Yeah. So I'm here presenting for the German indie film Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea. I don't usually like it when people say that I'm a part of Gen Z, but I am 25, so technically I am. And so for the purpose of this presentation, just for the presentation, I'll lean into it. Because Gen Z is what our film is about. Our film is about a couple of German students who just graduate high school and embark on this trip to Portugal together to search for themselves and search for whatever life has to offer next, and whatever freedoms are there for them to find. But there's a problem there, because our film is an indie film, German indie film, and out of our survey, it seems that only 14% of Gen Zers watch indie films regularly, and those numbers are even lower if we're looking at cinemas. This is generally what the cinemas look like, completely empty. So the question is, how do we get Gen Z back into those cinema seats? Now, it's not like cinema is dead, it just looks a little different for Gen Z. We'll watch Toy Story, a little part of it, immediately skip over to It, combine the two, really make sure we're engaged with all of the narratives. Then we'll take movie marketing campaigns, get obsessed over those, not even thinking about the movie yet. We'll take the old classics, we'll make them better, more suitable for us. What is The Godfather if it's not vertical? And lastly, even the classics from our youth, we'll have to put a little game underneath to even make sure that we stay engaged with it. So how do we apply this? How do we get Gen Z back into our cinema seats? First of all, we take our film, we put it in cinemas. Next up, take two other films, play them at the same time. Make sure we're engaged with every narrative. That's not where we stop. We add extra screens, we make sure there's mobile games playing, get all the synapses firing, make sure everybody's engaged all the time. Your cool uncle will even be there, selling you vapes, selling you snus. I mean, really, where does it get better? How does it get more Gen Z?
No.
What? That's crazy.
Thank you. Hi. So I don't know if you like the idea or not, but I did not really like it. I stand for cinema in terms of having an audience like this, full of people who laugh, or not, if they do not find it funny. And I think that everybody wants to relate. It doesn't really matter if we're from the same generation, if we have everything in common or not. We have just a few things in common, and that's fine. We can relate on that. And Gen Z was born when the phones were they were put into their hands. They were basically born with phones in their hands. And that means that they were born into an alternative reality, so to say. They immediately got access to everybody on the planet. They could communicate with anybody they wanted, and they could talk about their different interests, talk about actors, talk about movies. So Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea is really a good reflection of the youth today. And I don't mean to say that, older generations could not relate to that. What I mean by that is that especially the youngsters, they feel this kind of stress about growing up because they don't really know what's going to happen next. They don't really know who they are even, and that's completely normal. And Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea really, really explores that. They take a road trip, right? As my colleague said, whom I disagree with. A road trip is sort of a metaphor as well for exploring oneself and finding yourself. And really, these are the main questions that the Gen Z would generally ask. Since social media is an undeniable part of their daily lives, as well as ours, we have some issues coming up. A lot of people might say that brain rotting is only from the Gen Z. But yesterday, when we were presenting, we had some answers that proved that this is not only a Gen Z thing. Everybody scrolls, it doesn't matter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We also watch movies at home. We can watch a season, and then the second season, and then the third season, all in one go. It doesn't matter. We can go to sleep, wake up the next morning, continue watching the series that we like. And we figured, my team and I, that we should implement positive urges for the youngsters. And instead of running away from social media and saying that it's bad, we could find a way to make it positive and to create positive urges for them. So what are the solutions that we propose? We have 4. The first one would be, this is a slide from, an Instagram account of this character from Gossip Girl. And do you know this TV series? Yeah, I see the nods, mostly women. Blair is, at the beginning of the series, she's a teenager. She's going through a lot of things, a lot of emotional stuff in her world, and teenagers relate to that. This is a Gen Z page, for sure. They are posting as her, they are posting things that they relate to through her, and what we suggest is that take Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea, the movie that we are representing, create character profiles for the movie characters that we have, and post as them. Make the posts relatable, which in turn will get a bigger audience. And I don't know if you know this, but Instagram kind of changed the algorithm a little bit. You don't have to pay for ads anymore. You can just make something trendy or use the correct sound, and your post is going to come up on everybody's pages, and everybody is going to see it, and you're going to be popular and stuff. So really, this does not really need money even. You just need fans. Fans drive the cycle. You'll see that in just a bit. Another idea that we have is vlogs, and at the end of our movie, we have these behind-the-scenes clips, and we found it really relatable, because everybody has taken a trip somewhere in their lives, right? Yeah? And if you take it and upload it, it's gonna become famous. This is just Pinterest, and there were so many more videos on it, as well as Instagram, TikTok. So really, promotion is about making things relatable, as I said before. And then, this should be a video, but another idea that we have is not related to social media per se. It's more, it's like a web page. Oh yeah, but it's still not playing. So you see, this is a text, and it says, "I'm in McDonald's." Please go back. Oh, sorry. So I'm in McDonald's, And there's an adorable cashier sitting behind the counter, and there's a vampire, and I'm standing next to an empty booth, blah, 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 blah. This is a different story. This is not related to the movie. But what our game would do is we take a scenario from the movie, and we make it interactive. So let's say I'll just use a different example. I'll use myself. So I'm Alexandra, in case I didn't introduce myself. Let's say Alexandra is feeling really stressed right now, and she wants to get off the stage and run through the door. So we have 4 solutions, 4 choices. What do we do? And then we have the players, the gamers who are on the website, and they can choose. First one, Alexandra does go off the stage and she does go away from here. The second option would be she's just stuck here on the stage and she's smiling and she's not saying anything anymore. Then the third option would be she continues talking and everything is a success. So this is our game proposal for movies, and specifically Tomorrow Somewhere by the Sea, that it would be an interactive story and people could relate to it more because they could make the choices for the characters. This is a video. I hope I can play it. Yeah. So this is our teammate in the back. Yeah. And how this works. She went to see the movie, and right after the movie, there was this sort of computer thing that takes your picture, but it's also a video at the same time. And simultaneously, you get the video played and you are inside of it. So it's not only interactive, you are a part of it. It's sort of like the fourth wall is broken. You are in the movie. And I feel like Gen Z is really looking for that. They really want to relate. They really want to be there. They want to feel things. So, as I said before, fans drive the cycle. Of course, there are a lot of marketing solutions that require funding, but what we are working here with is independent filmmaking, and it's not always a big budget that we have to work with. So, I suggest that you focus on the fans. Fans are going to give you the funds to make it work. They are going to do the promotion for you. They're going to be posting as Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl for you and get more eyes, more viewers. So what it takes to make this work is really just getting a passionate social media team, having people who understand trends, they understand the audience that you're working with, because really it's about relating to one another. And there has to be some sort of a budget for that, of course, but if you play the cards right, I guarantee you're going to earn all of it back. And of course, this is, well, my team and I, we think that this is a lean and efficient strategy. So just to end it all, I'd say that let's set new trends and inspire each other to work with each other. Just because we're from different generations, we have different interests, it doesn't mean that we're so different after all. Everybody wants to relate. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a really good question. You had the idea about the vlogs, and the question is that should those vlogs be filmed as characters or as the actors?
Right, so we were actually thinking about that. Since actors become the faces of the movie, they are forever going to represent the movie, right? You think of Brad Pitt, you think of certain movies. He's always going to represent them. So this can be a dual decision that is made considering if your actors are really charismatic and like people that want to be followed. So it really depends on that, but both ways could work in our eyes.
Okay, and a follow-up question to the same question is that wouldn't this production slow down the film production itself? Producing all those extra materials, those vlogs, wouldn't that slow down the production?
Oh, I don't think so. There's a lot of bloopers, right? All the time. And there's other actors that, well, at least when I've been on set, we always take videos of each other, excluding the set, if that's the rules. So really, I don't think it would slow down the production. It depends on you as well.
Okay, The next question is, how does one become a fan of a film they haven't seen yet?
That's a good question. So, since the interactive game idea could be sort of an intro into what's coming next, if you make the game interesting, if you promote it on social media, people are gonna want to know where the story is coming from. So this could be the first step.
And the next question would be, did you try all these ideas in connection to marketing the film? Did they work? Did you get the audience?
That's a great question. I wish we had the opportunity to do that, but the film is already released and we never got to work on the marketing. So, but maybe someday.
Okay, and I have a final question that you worked as an international team. What is your opinion? Did this benefit, or was it like a burden to carry that you needed to find this time to schedule your meetings, and was it harder, or did it bring better ideas and more diverse viewpoints?
The fact that we're an international team, I think it brought us a lot of diverse ideas, because we have somebody from China, I'm from Lithuania, we have Estonians as well, we have a Dutch guy who's living in Ireland. So it's really different backgrounds, but we're all Gen Z, although one of us would disagree. So I think it did bring a lot of new, fresh ideas, but we did sometimes have a barrier because we have different cultural experiences. But I think it's always useful to have really different people in your team. So I would say it was useful, for sure.
Yeah, and if you have different cultural background, then it brings the more diverse viewpoints. So
Exactly.
But of course, it depends always on the film or in the project you want to market.
If you like it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we have presentation on the rolling papers creative concept.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Niklas. I'm here presenting the creative concept for the film Rolling Papers. Let's talk about the film a little bit. So the film pretty much talks about this young guy named Sebastian. He is working as a cashier at a corner store in Tallinn, just bored out of his mind. He meets Silo, who's this free-spirited young man, wants to do everything in his life that makes him happy. And he whisks him off on this adventure. And what follows is this film about finding your way in your 20s and taking responsibility for your choices and battling indecisiveness. Our goal from the beginning was to essentially make this marketing strategy that would effectively engage both our core audience and our broad audience, and do this in a more creative and fun way, we would say. But what's life without a few challenges? Here's what we faced. So, core versus wide. We first had to define what core means. We wanted to think that our Gen Z is probably the core audience that we're trying to actually engage. But as Marion actually said, he is not a Gen Zer, but he's 25. So how do they bleed into each other? So we knew that we had to find these sort of solutions that would cater to both and would cater to each other as well. And since the film talks about drug use as well, the two main characters actually smoke weed together and dream of a one-way ticket to Brazil, then we knew that we had to be conscious about the way that we talk about drugs so that we wouldn't either demonize nor romanticize that. And we didn't have a lot to work with. We had a trailer, we had a few stills, and we had the film itself. So we had to optimize the existing material to create something so we wouldn't do reshoots. And we only had to fit that into an 8-week window, which sometimes seems like a long, lengthy piece of time period, but it actually isn't. 4 weeks before and 4 weeks after the premiere, with the most crucial time being the week before and the week after. So we had to find something that would pretty much fit into that time period. Here's Silo and Sebastian. Here's what we came up with. We started with our core audience, so mostly Gen Z. but mostly people who were going through their second teenagehood. We focused on character solidarity and thematic connection. So the very people that we're trying to market to are the very people that come up in this film. There is Sebastian, Silo, there are men in their early 20s, late teens. There is a character named Mr. Mays, who is a wannabe rap idol, who we probably all met one wannabe rap idol in our lives. And we also wanted to perhaps find this way to create an emotional connection with the entire themes of finding your way. So we created personalized playlists. This film doesn't itself have a score, but it has lots of known songs that are played in the backgrounds of certain parties. So we thought of adding those into our playlist. We already created them. And since we have Mr. Mays, who creates tons and tons of seemingly immaculate extremist songs, then we thought of adding those into that playlist as well. So you can go and essentially go with Sebastian and Nora to wander around Tallinn, or sit with Silo. You can be bored out of your mind with Sebastian until Silo comes and saves the day. And you can pretend that you're Mr. Mays. And it would be fun, since when you're, I don't know, listen to one of the playlists, you can think to yourself, oh my God, Sebastian listens to Post Malone as well. That's so me. Or, wow, the Smiths. Haven't heard that one in a while. We created memes as well. Those can be used on merch and stickers later on. They're quite funny. To some, no, which is fine. And now for our broader audience, we knew we had to essentially find a way to approach the film from different standpoints. So we created pre-screening events, 3, more of those in a jiffy. We created engagement through games, more on those later as well. And we created a poster map to see and make sure that we wouldn't exclude any suburbs or any areas that are not within our cultural mindset, to essentially effectively engage Tallinn and Estonia as a whole. The first pre-screening event would be for influencers, both micro and macro. We would essentially bring in creators with different follower accounts and follower demographics, and have them have fun and see what they come up with and what they do later on. On Wednesday, we would have a panel with the screening to talk more about how to support each other while finding your way in your 20s, and why not even later at life? I mean, come on. And we'd bring in mental health organizations, we'd bring in nonprofits and youth activists to make sure that the themes are covered in their entirety, as well as drug use. Friday, the big bang, we would have a Mr. Mage DJ launch party. Mr. Mage can come up and have his own gig, turn up the crowd, and we would watch the film and have an official launch party. Now for our games. We thought of 2 games. First one would be essentially a trailer game. Interesting, yes. We would use pieces and little snippets from the trailer itself and create this choice-based game of whether or not you would go with Sebastian or Silo or stay in the corner store and be boring. We created another game, a quest game. So this would come out after the release itself, and it would be a little more nitty-gritty and crafty in its entirety. Would involve a little bit of animation, but not a whole lot. You can go around as Sebastian or Silo and trying to find things around Tallinn to gather off enough things so you can buy a ticket to Brazil and get out of here. Here's Sebastian and Silo, little guys. We also made newsletters for media. Creative newsletters, visual newsletters, because no one likes reading. Yes, reading is fun. It's fun sometimes, but most of the time you just want to look at something cool and be inspired. That's why we make films, right? So we made visual newsletters. Another one, Ticket to Brazil, maybe. Anyone? I would. We made a poster map, quite pretty. Tried to essentially tackle suburbs as well. This is for Tallinn, just as an example, but why not for other places around Estonia or other countries. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. We have a question, and it's actually a really good question, and it applies to all the projects. But the question goes to you.
Right.
What would be the universal ideas you would highlight that whatever movie it could be, then the ideas that are transferable to other projects as well?
We talked about this, and we all came up with the fact that games are just so fun, something interactive. And this has come up in our surveys as well. People, especially Gen Zers, love interactive stuff. We love making sure that we leave a mark on the world. And if that's through choice-based games and essentially making an illusion that you have any choices in life, then so be it.
Okay. For a second, let's go back to the survey, because you were part of the team conducting and working out the questionnaire and so on and so on.
Yes, sir.
And we have a question that arrived a bit late, but we can ask from you. The question is, who were the people answering the survey? How did you approach them? And did you manage them somehow? Because the risk there was that they are part of the film bubble. Because the person asking the question is kind of doubting that the percentage of youth attending the film festival, according to your survey, seemed a little bit too high.
That's true. In actuality, when it comes to statistics, then yes, one of our mentors actually had some concerns because most people don't go to cinemas at all. And yes, it's mostly when it comes to film people, yes. We can't make sure and we can't fully rely on the fact that we're actually engaging and talking to people who are not within the film bubble, but that's fine. I mean, yes, the statistics might be mostly based on the film bubble, but it's still about youth. And people love stories. Everyone loves a story, a good laugh. So whether or not it's within the film bubble or not can make a difference. But the statistics and the results themselves are still valuable.
Okay, and now coming back to your project, we have a question, and the question is, what was the poster map about?
The poster map was mostly to be later used. We made links and we made specific locations. So the poster map is just a visual to make sure that we haven't excluded anyone within the region of Tallinn in itself. So we just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't geographically leave anyone out, and we would make sure that the places with the most foot traffic and the most left out places are covered with posters.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we have a presentation on the Wet Monday creative concept.
Hello, everyone. I am hoping you're not too tired because this is already the 5th presentation. My name is Irina, and I am from BFM, and I am here to present the marketing and communication strategy that my team came up with for a film called Wet Monday. And let me explain to you what Wet Monday as such is, where the name comes from. The name comes from a celebration, a holiday, the day after Easter. It's commonly known mainly in Eastern Europe, but other countries have like variations of it as well. It's a holiday mainly for kids, where they can have fun, splashing each other with water, and it's all supposed to be innocent, supposed to be a day when kids can have fun. But in Wet Monday, the film, it's not as fun as it was meant to be, because the main character, whose name is Clara, she got raped a year before the events of the movie start. And since then, she developed the fear of water, and everything, like every interaction with water, starts to trigger her. And you know, for years, movies have been trying to tackle all of those complex issues. And Wet Monday found this really good way of doing it, which is combining it with magical realism. So one of the questions that the movie tackles is, what is worse, the sexual assault or emotional assault of being silenced? Because Clara, the main character, she's being kind of pressured into staying silent about what happened to her, that eventually she isn't even sure that it happened, and she starts forgetting it. And the only way she starts to kind of remember what happened is through her dreams. And her sister and her family are pressuring her into staying silent, while her friend, her new friend that she made, who is kind of like a local weirdo, her name is Diana, and she's like an esoteric kind of friend. I feel like most of us have had this type of friend, or at least the person that they know in their life. And she's the one who actually helps Clara get over it. And this is where the magical realism comes in. It's in the Wet Monday film, it's used rather like a narrative tool to represent all of those complex issues of trauma and healing and sisterhood through cultural symbolic elements, which are taken from the Wet Monday and overall like Easter traditions in Poland and Eastern Europe. So the themes would be sisterhood, resilience, and trauma, and those are the ones that we are emphasizing on in the marketing strategy that we came up with. So as for the approach, we realized that we have to find a balance between representing the issue of trauma on the proper way, meaning that it's not underrepresented, but it's also not over-traumatizing for people, re-traumatizing. You don't want to get people who have gone through a similar thing to get them to the cinema for the screening and be like, hey, this movie is going to traumatize you. What are the chances that people are going to show up? Probably low. And the point would be to represent the trauma in a way that would be serious enough, but at the same time it would provide hope, because that is one of the things that we discovered thanks to talking to the movie producer and director, is that the point of the movie is to provide hope and resilience and sisterhood, and the idea that you can overcome this if you've been through these horrible things. And for that, we came up with an approach that mainly is based on cross-media campaigns, meaning that, as people who presented before me mentioned, that Gen Z really values relating and interacting, and we are tackling those rather immersive experiences in the campaigns. And as well as that, we will lean towards a similar approach that the movie had already, which is use of symbolic and participatory experiences and mental health themes and cultural elements, and all of that comes into, not yet, all of that comes into the strategies that we came up with. But who are we doing this for? We are doing it for Gen Z audience. That's what we gathered here for, to talk about Gen Z and how to approach them. But how do we approach Gen Z with such difficult themes? Gen Z struggles with having enough authentic stories, enough relatable stories, and films that will be representative enough, as well as multi-layer promotion, not just offering Gen Z a film in one specific way, but providing them multiple ways to interact with the film, as well as considering this multi-layer promotion, which is something that we suggest to all filmmakers. And preferred engagement of Gen Z would be interactive experiences and social media. So finally, made it to the marketing campaigns. Our marketing campaigns, most of them combine the offline and online approach, meaning that there will be like this mutual exchange of content between all of those. The first one would be a Healing Tree campaign that would promote community and cultural connection. It would be like a tree installation that could travel with the movie, with the crew of the movie throughout their like film-related events, festival screenings, everything. And during that, people who visit the screenings, they can contribute to the tree by adding supportive messages to victims of rape and sexual assault. And this way, the tree would be growing with each and every event, and that would promote the sense of community. And there is quite an easy way to integrate that into social media, meaning that rate. Talk about a hashtag that is kind of connected with the previous idea with Clara's diary account. So that would be a hashtag that would kind of serve a similar idea to what Healing Tree does, but that one would be completely online, meaning people would just leave their messages of hope and resilience on social media under this hashtag. There are two ways of doing it. We kind of emphasizing on the second one, meaning contribute or bring back to life an existing hashtag rather than create a new one, because creating a new one is social media-wise a bit more difficult. And one more, we suggest doing Water Healing Challenge on social media again. And water would represent healing, and water would be perfectly related to the film core narrative, because Wet Monday, water, splashing with water, and also water can be as something that represents healing. So for that, we were thinking maybe we should do it as a hashtag as well. But then we realized that, first of all, it's going to be another hashtag. Secondly, we should probably lean into something that has more chances of having success on social media. And what is that? It's sounds. So like extracting an existing sound from the movie, be that a motivational quote or speech from Diana mostly, or a music from the film, and putting it on TikTok, because that is something like helps collect all of the pieces of content related to it, rather than a hashtag. And this can be started on Clara's diary account, and also movie actors can participate. Oh my God, one more. And Chocolate X campaign, that one would require two partnerships with candy companies and local cinemas, meaning that people would go to the cinema to see some other movie. They would get a chocolate egg for free. Inside of the wrapper, there will be a QR code that will take them to the Instagram account of the movie itself, and a voucher promo code for a discounted ticket for the movie screening of Wet Monday. And last but not least, we also created a kind of a big sheet of international partnership ideas. Those are rather universal. They're not specifically tailored to Wet Monday. And like thanks to having such an international team and with all of those connections and contributions, we managed to come up with all of these ideas. These are film festivals, streaming platforms, and basically partnership deals that the movie has the potential to connect with. And that is it. I am way over time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we have a question related to the last slide, so I go back. Because there are people who actually do make films or distribute them, and thanks to having the international team you had, then can you please explain more thoroughly the different options you have brought out here, and maybe not all of them are on the slide, you can add additional ones as well.
Yeah, sure. So most of those, those are related to the countries where the team members of my team are from. And for example, some of those are streaming platforms. Some of those are bigger streaming platforms that are kind of like including those international films in there. And some of those are really small ones, but the small ones are probably more willing to participate, to engage with an independent film. Along with that, there are film festivals that the movie can apply to, and filming festivals, and also venues for organizing film-related events, such as the cinema, Lumiere in Bratislava, and yeah, those are like the main categories that we came up with.
Okay, thank you. You had quite a lot of ideas, all good, but what would you highlight, like 2 or 3 of them that would also be universally usable on other films?
Well, I would say that almost anything engaging with social media is something that is rather universal. And when it comes to relatability, that was mentioned here plenty of times, that is also something that can be leveraged via social media. So I would say extracting the sound and creating a community around it on social media. It was like participating in a challenge and kind of like contributing through this user-generated content. I regret not mentioning this very smart word during my speech. User-generated content is something that can definitely be leveraged because it's not. I wouldn't say it's a trend, but like it's not even a trend. It's kind of becoming a classic. It's kind of becoming the core contribution of the fan community to any film or basically any other production piece.
Okay, and last question. Is it harder to disseminate or to market a film which has a really hard topic, but at the same time, if that hard topic speaks to a person, then the involvement might be stronger? Or is it easier to market a film that is like more general in that sense?
Well, it's really difficult to answer what is more difficult because the approach would be also completely different, meaning that there are more ways to do it when it comes to a more complex film. Also, that is something that we found out thanks to our survey, because in the survey we had questions that were specifically tailored to one of those complex issues of trauma, and we asked what would be an ideal way for people to explore these topics in the films, and they said that the combination of this dark and realistic approach with the one that provides hope and positivity would be the best way to do it. So, yeah, I think that would be the approach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we conclude our session. We thank you all for joining us and being so active, asking the questions. And immensely big thanks to all the students, to the mentors, to the supervisors, to the film experts and industry people who contributed to make this session and to make this whole project happen. So thank you and have a nice festival.